Hello everybody and welcome. I hope you're well. Well, today we're going to talk about parasites. And inside the world of parasites, we have many different types. We're going to talk about some of them today. But what I'm going to say today emotionally applies to most of the parasites around, with the exception of some of them, and I'm going to talk about them today. Now, if you have a child, let's say that has parasites, that has worms, now the emotion is of the mother, because all of the symptoms and diseases of our children are our emotions as mothers. Unfortunately, that's how it rolls. Most of the time is the mother, sometimes it's the father, but most of the time is the mother. Now, all of those emotions that you're holding to, that child is going to show to you. That child is the best mirror that you can have. So if you cannot express your emotions, that child is going to show it to you with symptoms. Now, if we talk about parasites, we talk about a conflict of power given. The person feels like it's given its power because that person has a big conflict with power, with authority. And what do I call authority? Authority could be your father, because archaically our father normally is the one that is the authoritarian one, but sometimes it could be your mother, the one with the power, with the authority in the house. So our parents are already our authority because they are above us. So, but also authority could be the government. Authority can be the church. Authority can be your boss. It could be any institution that for you represents authority. But also the highest power of all is God. So sometimes a lot of people have issues with God. And I had many cases already where people had issues with God or with church. And that's where also parasites come from. And I have a story today I'm going to tell you. And also the church was involved in these emotions for this person. So going back to parasites, it's a conflict of power given. The person feels infested. The person feels that this authority around them has too much power. They feel too little. They feel like a parasite. A parasite, what we normally say is doesn't do anything. It just bothers, but doesn't do much. It just goes under your skin and so on. So the person feels that way because somebody made them believe this. Because maybe the father didn't talk good to this child, let's say. And now you're an adult, but you have a boss that treats you just like that father did treat you. And that's when parasites come. So you already have the story in your life, but now you never had parasites when you were little, but you have it now when you grow up, because you have already story with that, with the power given. Well, when you may feel invaded by this authority. Now, a good example of this is that people with parasites have a special vocabulary in them because they repeat many things. They constantly repeat this when they actually have many issues with parasites or skin problems. They actually repeat, oh my God, people just getting under my skin. That's one. Oh, they're just parasites, or I am a parasite. They use me and abuse me is another one. They're invading me. I feel invaded. That's another one. Everybody lives out of me. And that means that they take my money, or they take my intelligence, or they take something from me. They are sucking something. Saying that, Also, the person normally repeats, oh my God, they're sucking blood out of me. They're just sucking out of me, like a vampire would do, let's say. But these people also believe the government wants them ignorant. But it's not like just saying, you are just in a conversation and you just say, well, the government just wants you ignorant. No. These people have recurrent problems with parasites, they believe this very seriously, and they have a big conflict with this. They say, not that I'm in favor of the government wants you ignorant, but that's not my belief anyways. But people say it very clearly, yes, the government wants you ignorant, and this is very strong for them. But they also believe that world one is for the big ones, not for the poor ones like me, because they always feel little. They always feel little in this big old world, because that's what they make them believe from very young age, that they are little, they're nothing, they're just one more of the big plague that they are out there. Now, it's different cases. I'm going to talk about a couple ones. Scabies. Scabies is one. I just had a case not long ago. Scabies talks about the contact that I want to have or that I don't want to have. When we talk about the skin, this is what represents, and I have a couple videos for this. Now, scabies is actually a forced contact that I don't want to have. And I had this lady, and she was living with her in-laws, and she felt invaded. She felt that they were invading her territory. She felt that they were getting under her skin. She felt that they were too much, because they were just always criticizing her and all of that. So she felt very much invaded. She didn't want to have this contact with these in-laws because they were a bit too much for her. And she had scabies, but also her son had it, because she was in these emotions. Now, hair lice. Hair lice is a bit different. Now, hair lice, the child that has hair lice feels that it's been invaded, but intellectually. People are asking too much from that child, intellectually. They want him to do better homeworks, to work harder in school, to do more intellectually, and to the point that the child feels that he has too much on his head, they're getting on his head, his ideas, his thoughts, everything that is in his head, they're invading him, and he feels they're getting too much under his thoughts, let's say. Now, when the parasites get involved with the liver, now that's another story. I have some videos here I'm gonna leave you about the liver. When we talk about the liver, we talk about a big feel of lack. I'm lacking in love, lacking in money, lacking in faith. And I feel also invaded. But we need to see what happens that the liver gets involved, and which one is also the parasite also, yeah? Now, I had a case months ago where I had this guy that came to me, and he said that for 20 years he felt like he had parasites under his skin. He went to many doctors. No doctor ever diagnosed him with parasites. They done 100 tests, never come up like he actually had parasites. But he keeps saying that yes, and he saw them coming out of his skin. But no doctor could ever prove that. But he was feeling that way. So I treat him just the way if he actually had them. And I remember asking him and said, when was the first time you felt that you actually got one parasite. And he told me there was 20 years ago when he was playing with his friends and there was this mattress, dirty mattress in some house or something. And they threw him on that dirty mattress and he fell. Then the one parasite got on him under his skin. And I remember asking, said, where? What part of the body? And he said his bum. And that's all I needed to hear. Parasite, dirty mattress, and in the bum. Because the bum represents territory. We sit, look what I'm gonna say. I almost spilled my Spanish there. Look what I'm gonna say is when we sit in our throne. Even when we go toilet, that's our territory. That's our throne. That's where we sit. So anything around my territory. And also, that bad phrase that it is, you are a pain in the ass. Well, just like that. Is that feeling that somebody's always a pain in my bum. Always, always. So I said to him, so who was the biggest pain in your ass, in your life? Without hesitation, he straightforward said to me, my brother. No thinking there. It was just straightforward, my brother. And that anger came also. And then also my father, he said, and that anger came again. And then also the church. But mostly, and he said it with really anger there, my brother. My brother was horrible to me. My brother mistreated me. My brother put me down all the time. Told me that I was bad and it was violent towards me. And he was horrible, he said. He was the worst. And my father, he said, because his father also mistreated him. His father also made him feel really bad. All the time, you don't do nothing good, all that kind of language. And also church, because for him, church was power, church was authority, and church for him, I'm not saying this is how it is, for him, and made him do things that he didn't want to do, follow stuff that he didn't want to follow, and church for him was a big authority of everything that he didn't want to do, just like it was his father and his brother. But it was a lot of anger there. Every time he would talk about his brother, it was anger. And that's when he also started scratching a lot during the session. And he said, I just can feel it now. I just can feel it. Just by talking about going back to that memory of that brother that was horrible to him, he was scratching himself. Because we were talking about that was hurting him so much. That person, there was more than a pain in the bum for him. That person was invading his territory, making him like a parasite, making him feel little. So the thing is that today, he didn't have any contact with his brother for many years. No contact with his father. His father passed. He had no contact with church because he chose another journey for his life. But he still felt the parasites, because today, any person that had to apply just a tiny bit of power over him, he felt little, just like he felt in front of his brother. And even today, he felt little, even though he had no contact with his brother. So in this case, we had to work on forgiveness. Forgiveness in this case was clue for it, because he needed to forgive that brother, that father, and the church. He had to forgive, otherwise he was always going to feel invaded. He always was going to feel a parasite himself, nothing in this world. Forgiveness for him was clue for this. So I hope this video has helped you to understand any of the parasites, if you ever had, if you have somebody around you that has them. If you have any questions, any comments, please leave them down below. Take care, and I see you next video. Bye bye.